Good morning. So let's start. Let's get started here. Let me share the screen and we can jump right into it. So, first thing I would just say is between what's going on in the Middle East, you're seeing a lot of this morning, right? You're seeing a lot of energy names get setting up. Like this to me is setting up to kind of test that 50-day. Let's see what happens with it. But I think that's really what you're setting up for. You're setting up for here, and now you're looking to break above this. If that happens, you're going to see certain names run, and those names are going to be, pretty much the usual suspects. Good morning. You in San Francisco, SF? Good morning, Joe. Yeah, we're going to start the week strong. We already are. Hey, Joshua. So let's jump in here. So you just got to start watching these names, and you have to see which names actually move. So you could see Oxy go. I mean, Oxy's pretty tied to energy. So you could see this run, and you could see it run right to here, $27. So you could see a good 2 points there in that name. You just got to watch that. I like the Oxy name more than this MRO. You could play the big dogs, but they're just not going to get the bump that you're going to see in those. So that's really, that's really one of the things I just wanted to point out this morning. Just be aware of that. I did point this out earlier, and we went over it last night as well. Like this is setting up to just go. Okay. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think that's just going to go. I think get through 472 and you're gone. The follow through here, you have a shot here of finally getting through this level. If that happens, casino stocks are going to go crazy. So keep that in mind. Oh, cool. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Amazon. So Amazon, I'm just at this point, I'm just waiting. Okay. So all I really want to see is this on Amazon. Get me above this 33.91 level, and I'll have interest. Right now, I'm just going to watch and wait. I had interest in buying options, but the way it's kind of trading, I just want to stay away from it until I get confirmation. 20 points on 20 points here is nothing. I mean, what are we doing? 18 basis points. So I want to see it actually get through here and then try to get up through this. That level I'll play. The rest I'm really not that interested in. I like the name. I like how the 8 is crossing. I like how you're above the 21 for the first time since it broke down. So it's definitely going in the right direction, right? Like things are getting better, but let's just make sure that they're going to get better. And the very first way that we can do that is get through 33.91. And that'll tell us exactly what we need to do. OIH. Yeah, you could play any of those. I mean, you can play those. You look, that could work. The whole oil service field, that could work. I mean, you could see a bump, but I'm going to go right to here, like 198, right? But you could definitely play it. I mean, I do think that this, I do think that you're in a situation here where these could run based upon, demand. Absolutely. So that's definitely something to consider. So could you please check DLO? Sure. Let's take a look at what's going on there. So I like this name a lot, and I think that you're setting up for a bigger move. You're just gonna have to wait. So, 63 was a huge number after earnings, and we just weren't able to get above that. And you can kind of see how you battled it in here a little bit, right? But what's interesting is like you're wedged in between these two, right? This is your control bar. So what happened is you tried to pop out, that didn't work. You opened above it, then you sold back down, right? So you're in a position where what you want to have happen is not really happening, okay? So you needed to do a couple things. You need to do one of two things. You needed either to get above this 75 level, so just call it 70 and a quarter, right? Or you need to close above 68 3/4, neither of which it's done. So that's what I'm really looking for here. But I think that this is setting up to move. These kinds of trades where you gap up and then you get above this area is just buying pressure, right? So a great example of this kind of trade is this, okay, where you have that range and then you break out of that range. And then when that starts happening, you start seeing a little bit of FOMO, like we're going to see in Dick's today. So I like it, but you just have to watch. Car. Yeah, that's going. Hey, TJ. So, yeah, I mean, this is setting up perfectly. I mean, look at that. Right? I mean, that's perfect. You just would like to see more volume come through it. And, you have a couple things that maybe you concern yourself with, but right, like maybe you concern yourself with that. Make sure you get through it. But I like it. I mean, you're just grinding higher. That whole space, right, is very interesting right now. So, I mean, look at this. That whole space is just on fire. So it's acting exceptionally well. Hey, buddy. Good morning. Morning, Ro. RHCFLT. So let's do RH. You keep having the same issue over and over again. You rally and you pull back. You rally, you pull back. I like this name a lot. The only thing I would say about this name is it's really hard to play this one. Why do I say that? Because it always does this. It rallies and then it pulls back. It rallies, looks like it's going to go, pulls back, right? Over and over again. So you really need to buy it when it's ugly. You need to buy it like when you're near like your 50-day down here and see if it holds. You need to buy it when it's on like a trend line, like here, look. Like there's your trend line, right? So I'd be more inclined to buy it when it's down here on that trend line than to buy it up here. It's just not where I would buy the stock. It doesn't work. It's not working that way. It's one thing I try to hammer home is like stocks have personalities. Those personalities are very simple. They're trading like the people that own them. Let's see if this is doing anything pre-market. Nothing great. You have a little trend line here. You broke that trend line. You stayed above it. You closed it. Now you're breaking it again. See if it goes. But this is really the big issue that you have to watch. You have to watch this level right here, 60. And you're going to have to see how that does. So let's just keep going. NOC. So NOC is one that I actually have a position in, just FYI. I took them as hedges just for what was going on out there. Let's see how they do today. I mean, they obviously they're looking to bid up a little bit. I think Lockheed Martin's bidding up too. There's some talk about the gate, the gate in Afghanistan is completely shut. That was the purpose of the bomb. I was reading about this week. So there's a chance that we don't leave on Tuesday. And if that happens, these stocks are probably going to go higher. So, we might not leave Afghanistan on Tuesday. It might take a little longer based upon what's transpiring there. So we're going to have to kind of see how this plays itself out. But this is really what's going on. And you can see this break above it, and you're trying to get above there. Now you're going to see how it plays out. But yeah, I think they could go if the turmoil kicks up. And it's a nice little hedge to have those trades on. SQL. So SQL, wow, this is it's brand new. Maybe look at a 15-minute. Yeah, you don't really have a ton of stuff to look at there, do you? So, I mean, you really just have to focus now on this bar. $473. I mean, that's what you're going to have to focus on. You have to focus between 473 and 378. That's your range. That's what you have to focus on. But there's not a lot going on there. Hey, Jen. This finally broke out of that trend, didn't it? Right? So here was our downward trend line, and we've broken above it. You formed a flag, and then what? You broke right above that flag. It's exactly what you wanted to see. It's perfect. Now you just have to see if you get follow through. And I don't know if you're going to want to wait for that before you enter or not, or if you're in this already. But I mean, you're really waiting for it to just get some follow through. And then you're probably heading to this level. You're probably heading up there. When are earnings? Yeah, you have plenty of time earnings wise. You only have one more time. Yeah. I mean, you have plenty of time there. So just consider that. I like it. I do. DOCN. Good morning, y'all, Chris. DOCN. DOCN. So Digital Ocean Holdings. Yeah, I mean, you're clearing key levels. How are we doing this morning? You're clearing key levels. You're trying to flip that level this morning, right? I mean, here, let me just pull that over, and you could just look at this for a moment and see what it's doing, right? You're trying to flip that, and you're trying to get to a level where let me just figure out the right way to say this. You're trying to get through the 63.10, right? I mean, that's really what your focus is right now, is to get through that 63.10. So how are we going to do that? And that really becomes the focal point. I think with something like this, you really have to let it play itself out. And the reason I'm so hesitant to say yes, buy this is, see how your volume is just falling off a cliff here? Like, that's the exact opposite of what you want to see. Like, you really don't want to see your volume falling off a cliff like that. That's not really what you're looking for. So it shouldn't make you feel warm and fuzzy. So I would wait for it to break out here, and I would hope that you get decent volume, right? That's how I would play it. That would be the best way that I could recommend playing that name right now. BBIG. Hey, Neil. So BBIG, let me just go through that. So let's just. So you could see your key level, right? You can already see the issue. Let me go through here. Just get to this. So right here, you're at 945. You try to get through that this morning. You were unable to. Let's just go through this. So, okay. This was obviously the level that you were having trouble with, right? So you can kind of go through it. Now, if you look at this pre-market, that was post-market or pre-market early or very early. But so let's get rid of these indicators. So once you get to that level and you know where your level is, you just see how you act on it, right? And once you broke it, that was it. Tried to get above it, couldn't, right? So you know where you're at. You know where your key levels are. Right now, they're just walking us down. I mean, that's all they're doing, right? They just keep walking us down. And you know, the only interesting thing about it pre-market is this was a low, right? And now this was another swing low, but now this one is kind of higher, isn't it? So maybe we flip and maybe we go when the market opens because people have to cover. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I would have expected more follow through today if we were going to see a true gamma squeeze, and I just haven't seen that yet. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. For DOCN, if it flips, it's going to go. Like, that's going to go, right? If this can flip, it's going to run. You know, look, you have this level right here, okay, that is pretty clean. Like, that's a pretty clean level. Right? I mean, that's 68. You know, you could come down here and start, right? And show this one, right? And you could see how it's hitting here, bonk, bonk, right? So, but you're really, by the time you get up to there, I think you're looking at $68 at least. Skin and figs, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Skin. Look, you're flipping that level. This is what you wanted to do. Get above this level, get above 25.25, and this is going to run. But you need to get through this wick. And you are doing it. You closed above this level for the first time. This is the highest close the stock ever had. So that's exactly what you're looking for. Exactly what you're looking for. So there's no real reason to do anything there. And figs. Let's do figs. $35.20. So there's your level. See how you're holding it? You can see your range and everything. 41, 42, 46. So I like it. I like it a lot. But it's got to break that level first before you do anything there. Morning, Justin. So let's just keep going here. Let me just see if I can find one that everyone's going to be interested in. Let's do it. Let's look at RRR and snow. Let's do that. RRR. So this is really what you're looking for, right? You're looking to get through this level this morning and jump across it. Pre-market on these are kind of hard to read because they're New York Stock Exchange, right? I really like it. I like the move. I personally think this looks the best of all that. And I know it's not a true casino play, but I think this looks the best of all those names. I really do. I like it a lot, and I think it'll continue. You're breaking out here. Just get the higher high, 47 and a quarter, and then it's on again. And it probably pushes. I mean, this is the one stock that's hitting highs. These are not hitting highs. Like when you look at these, right? I mean, that's not hitting a high, right? And I understand it's not a true casino play. I get that. But, when you look at those charts versus looking at this, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Which chart looks better, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. I like it. Snow. Hey, Dale. So, I covered this last night. I mean, here's your range now. Like this is where we open. This is like your little battle that's happening, right? And now you're going to break down. I don't know that you break down. I'm not really sure. I would say this: if I break below this level today, you're going to have a problem. Okay, because that's setting you up for a gap fill down to here. Okay, so if I break that, you have 10 points of downside, in my opinion. That's how I would look at it. Now you're trying to hold the open and you're not able to hold that open, which means all the people that bought here have now stepped away, which is kind of confusing, right? And this is why you always wait for follow through when you have big moves like this, just to see where everybody truly is at. So I would definitely not be chasing it. Hey, good morning. Hello, do the rebuilding after IDA. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe that's a way to play it. I don't know. I don't really see it that way. I mean, you're right against a trend line. I mean, we've shattered that trend line a couple times now, so it's probably moot. But it's not very exciting for me. If I was going to play one of them, I mean, this one looks better, right? I have this flag. I'm above the 8-day. I have a flag here. Like, look at the difference between these, right? Like if you were going to pick which one of those looks better to you, right? If you had to pick one, you'd have to pick this one, right? It just has a higher relative strength. The chart's it's just better. So that's how we have to look at it. Excel. I'm not seeing that on here. Am I doing that wrong? Excel, maybe it might be, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. GNRC. The other figs we already did. GNRC. I'm going to try not to do duplicates so I can get through some of these a little faster. I like it. You broke your level. Everything's pointing up. Like everything looks great there. The 8's crossing the 21, the 50's pointing up. This is going, but I don't have any volume. We talked about this before. Like there's just no volume there. It doesn't really seem to care that there's no volume there, right? I just seem to care. Like we broke through this with very little volume, and then you just went up 100 points. Like it was nothing on really light volume. So maybe that's just the way it trades, but it's not something I'd be rushing into here. There are some really good things that are going on here. Don't get me wrong. Like you're above this moving average. Looks like you're going to get above this line right here. I mean, that really seems like your battle right now, doesn't it? Here, let's clean this up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see how you're at that 438, and you can always see when you have these long bars, how they're in control, right? See how you came down here, tested it, didn't break, reversed. There's that crown pattern we talk about. And then here you go, boom. So it's setting up, but I would be looking for a close over 438. AMC I didn't do yet, Brett. I don't know. That's interesting. Usually I get a bunch of requests for that. I actually like the position of this here. So what I would be looking for, and I was walking through this last night, see this 4206 level, that's predicated upon this. That's your 50-day. Once you get above this 4160, 42 3/4, it probably goes. It probably continues to go. So you could look at it that way and, consider that. I get it. Like you can consider that level, and you can see it flip and continue to push, and it may do that. It really might do that. So I would just consider that. I don't think there's any reason to do, anything there. Sit, watch, and wait. But if you can flip that level and you want to be involved, there's your level. A higher high and back over the 50. People would, and then you just use this as your stop, 39, 30, 39, and just get out if it doesn't work. Morning, Ryan. Docs. So you tried to rally, failed, right? Usually you pull down to the 21 day on those. I don't know if that's going to happen. You have this nice, hammer bar. Maybe if you flip this level right here, you'd have a Morningstar pattern kind of, right? So you get above 84 and then see if you can push up to this 91 level again. But it doesn't really give you a lot of room. I mean, it's really hard to pick a stop there. So I'd probably let that play out a little bit and trade before I get involved. Hubs. I like this. I had too many others that I was looking at, or else I would have pulled the trigger on it. It did everything I needed it to do. It got above 675, which is what I was looking for. It pushed right to 702, 703. I really like this name. And I think this is just going to continue to go. I don't have any really very, very little qualms about it. I'm just not going to buy it up $25, $27. If you're in it, congratulations. It acts absolutely, it just acts great. So AMD, hey, Marty. I like semis a lot, like a lot. I think, but if you follow me and you've been following what we've been doing here, I've been all over semis, but I'm always all over semis. But I really do like it. Like you're going to break 1171 here. And I think just going back to this 123, I think that I thought this was a layup trade. I really do. If you look what's going on in that whole industry, the people are starting to finally get it. And I'm starting to think you might start seeing the panic buying coming in. I could be wrong, but let's see what happens with it. Now, that said, when you look at the socks, you really want to do one thing. You really want to get through that. You want to open here and you want to stay above 472. If you do that today, you're going to see a lot of people come into that space, like a lot. So just consider that, Marty. STEM, let's take a look. I wouldn't go near this. I mean, you're having trouble with this 2639. you're still below your 200 and the 50 pointing down. It's not something I'd be rushing into, Ro. Let's just see. Let me just keep going. Also, it could reverse down. I'm not sure what it's going to do. I don't have, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that it could, but we'll have to see. You're welcome, Neil. Let's look at Twitter. Hey, Matthew. So, you know, it's not doing anything. To me, it looks very weak. You have this trend, you know, we've been waiting for these trend lines to break, but look at this. Like we talked about this before. This is where you're at. I mean, this is the monthly on it. I'm just going to show you this. We're ending in a couple days anyway for the month. So that, you know, that candle will be complete, but you failed 74. You failed 70.43. You're forming an evening star at the top of this. You know, to me, I think you're coming back down into the 50s. So you have to hold this level. If you break that level and you close below your 8-month moving average, it'll be the first time that you close below that, right? Since the pandemic, right? So you haven't really closed below that since the pandemic. So that you don't really want to see that. And this is really trading, and this really trades like, you know, it really trades like this to some extent, right? This is actually doing a little bit better. But, you know, one of the things about it, it's trading like a media company. Like it's not really, if you look at these, they're not really able to get out of their own way. Right? They're very similar as far as where the patterns are. So I think that's going to continue. I don't think that they're going to break that. So I'd be really careful there, Matthew. ZS. I think your money's spent in better areas, frankly. If you want to be in that space, there's much better names. So ZS is just a monster, absolute monster. Broke out at 250 and is going to keep going. I think you have a 300 handle probably by the end of the year. There's really very little to do there except hold on to it if you're in it, Joshua. I mean, seriously, there's very little to do there. CRM broke. Hey, you too. So you just broke, and you know, this is very rare that this happens to me. It's happened to me twice this year, and it's very rare that I put something on that I consider a long-term hold, and then I'm out by the end of the day. But that's exactly what transpired here. Now, if you go here and take a look, this is setting up to go lower, right? So this is not something that I would recommend that people jump into here at all. I would avoid that. Oh, you're welcome, Dale. Anytime. Yes, Root is totally worth a look, Terry. It's on my short list. It's definitely on my short list. You know, there's a bunch of those little names that just look like they're going to explode today, and it's on my short list. But look what you're doing. I mean, this is why you have to understand technical analysis. You know, you can't get through this 874, and you're rejecting the 50-day. Is that something I want to buy right now going in the pre-market up, right? You know, I'm at 7.25. I closed at 6, so I'm up 20%. Do I want to buy that? No, I want confirmation. I'd rather pay up and know that I'm right, or know that I have a higher degree of probability of being right. Excel, I think I tried this, and I don't think it worked. And maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't have that one, buddy. I don't know why I don't have it. Morning, MA. NVIDIA, I absolutely love. I mean, there's just really nothing more to say about it. I absolutely love it. I think you're going to keep ripping, and I think you're going to keep going. We have, you know, 2 new positions that we put on it. We had a day trade down here at 188, which looks like it just should have been, you know, hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it? You just should have stayed in it, but maybe some people did actually. But, you know, the 2 new ads, I think we're just going to keep going. I think we're going to start just blowing through levels. People are going to start understanding that they need to own that company, and they need to own it for a very long period of time. That's what I think is going to happen there. Planter, are you finally through that 25 3/4? You are not through that 25 3/4. You're sitting right on that level again. Get through that level and close above that level, and then you're probably going to 27.5. It's probably a really easy 2-point trade, but you have to make sure you close there. XEL. XEL. Let's see here. XEL. I'm not really crazy about it here. You're just kind of sitting there. And then you have this, look at this trend line here. I got a couple minutes here, everyone, and then I have to go. I've got a ton of trades to look at and positions to look at off the open. So I got to prepare. But look at that downward trend. Like, why am I rushing into this? Yeah, we got it. Chewy, avoid. So just avoid. You're in that wedge line. You got to watch that wedge. There's nothing to do there. You really just have to watch that. MX. Let's look at MX. What's going on there? I mean, that's something you really got to just watch, right? Sorry about that. Just went and got more coffee. You really got to watch what's going on there because you're in a position. You're in a position where it's not really working the right way, right? Like this should really be moving a little more in the direction of the rest of them, and that's not what's happening here. So keep that in mind. Better names in this space. As far as no, I haven't done that one yet. So let's do that. NNDM. Yeah, you just got to sit, watch, and wait with this, man. There's nothing to do there. There's nothing to do there. Let me try and get through as many of these as I can. Just start running through here, do a lightning round. Look, we've been looking at this, right? That's the level you have to watch. See this line right here? That's what you have to watch. Okay, just watch that 14.25, and you're just sitting right on it. So there's nothing really to do there except watch and wait. That's just my opinion of it. Like there's nothing for me to do there. Let's just keep going. ZEV, edit. No. Edit 67.25. Get through that. See your level? See how you're right here? And then you failed here. And now look at you. Right? Bonk, bonk, bonk. Right? That's what you want to see. I have an $84 target. I don't remember how I got to that on it. Maybe that's over here. It's probably one of these levels. Yeah, there it is. Okay. But getting through that, I think you could push to 84 pretty quickly. So, yeah, I think Tesla has a shot to break out, Doug. I think it does too. I agree with that. Yeah, BBIG looks like it's just off. That's exactly how you have to play it now. That's exactly how you have to play it. But I'd watch the 943 that you're not opening. You know, you want to see panic off the open. Yeah, I get that. I get that move. That makes sense, Terry. GDRX, let's do that. GDRX. 37.25 looks like the level I have, and you're right there. So let's see how we're doing. What did we do this morning? You're trying to get over that. So let's see if it does that. My little alert will go off. But then you have to start contending with this at 39.35, right? Start contending with your 200-day. But I like that. I like that a lot. No, I didn't cover it yet, Doug. Hey, Susan. So Mattel, you know, this is really where you're at there, right? There's that wick, 2192 coming out, breaking out of this. So you can push, you could totally push. And what you're looking for is to get to this level. 2271 on Mattel. That's really what you're looking for. You could push to that 22 and then start working your way up. Absolutely, that could happen. So, and Matt, I liked. I looked at that this morning. So, you know, really, what you have to watch is, pardon me. This is what I was pointing out this morning. You went right to the 50-day and you just stopped. I mean, you literally just like boop. just hit it and that was it. That's not really what you want to see. So that's it. As always, just reach out if you have questions. You can always just email me as well. But if you comment in here, if I didn't answer your question, comment in here and then I'll see it and then I can answer it later in the day, or you can always just get me there. All right. Have a great